going to be talking to you about the opioid overdose crisis. In specific, we're going to be talking about the ways doctors actually overprescribe their patients. And so this will be the table of contents page. This page is to actually show you guys the different types of topics that we will be going over. For one, this is to assess the prevalence of prescription opioids use in the opioid overdose crisis. Topic number two, we're going to be talking about the ways they evaluate factors contributing to prescription opioid misuse. Topic number three, we'll be talking about the different ways to determine the effectiveness of prescription drugs in reducing prescription opioid misuse, as well as monitoring programs. And topic number four is to identify the best practices for prescription opioid prescribing and pain management. So, what is the opioid overdose crisis? The opioid overdose crisis actually refers to the significant increase in deaths and hospitalizations related to the use of opioids. This includes prescription painkillers, heroin, and synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. Opioid overdose can cause respiratory depression, which can lead to brain damage or death. So, what are the key factors? Typically, we see overdoses being publicized sort of as illicit or illegal drugs. Also, more so self-prescribed, meaning that you can typically go to your local store and probably buy a few painkillers or aids in sleeping, such as like sleeping pills, sort of over the counter. Some of which can be purchased from local shelves, as I said, in common marketplaces. This leaves little to no chance of monitored regulation. Others are either illegally imported or made. So, the topic we'll be discussing is more so involved in the prescription aspect. So, the prescription drug overdose. This refers to a situation where an individual takes more of a prescription medication than what was prescribed. This typically leads to adverse health effects or even death. Prescription drug overdoses can occur with a variety of medications. In recent years, there has been a significant increase in prescription drug overdose in many countries. Particularly, this involves opioids. According to the Center for Disease Control, or the CDC, over 14,000 people have died in the United States alone from prescription opioid overdoses in 2019 alone. Here are my personal two takes on what this crisis envelops. So, overprescription is one. One of the primary causes of the prescription overdose crisis is the overprescription of opioids by healthcare providers. This can occur when doctors prescribe too high a dose of medicine or for longer than necessary, increasing the risk of addiction and overdose. Number two is the lack of regulation. There's been a lack of regulation and oversight of the pharmaceutical industry, which has led to aggressive marketing of opioids to doctors and the public. This contributes to the widespread use of overprescription of these drugs. Just to go back to the last slide, I also want to take note, a last factor I feel kind of leads to the overdose crisis, which is the sense of euphoria. Many people do find a joy in sort of feeling not like themselves. It kind of gives you a higher feel of your situation or maybe your experience, a heightened sense of joy and maybe happiness for most.